Level 1. The Scraper. You're 16 years old. You live in a cramped apartment in a city where the air always smells like exhaust and old rain. Your mother works 2 jobs, just like the mothers of the kids in the sources who join MS-13. You're invisible at school, a face in the crowd with a cheap laptop and a talent for staying quiet. You don't join the syndicate, you just exist on the periphery of their forums. You find a job board on a hidden onion site. They don't call you a soldier yet, they call you a scraper.
Your job is simple and mind-numbing. You run automated scripts to harvest thousands of email addresses and phone numbers from vulnerable databases. You're the digital version of a botellero, or a lookout. You're not making deals or kicking down doors. You're just providing the raw material. You spend 10 hours a day in a dark room, watching lines of green text scroll past. You make 0 money at first. They're testing you. They want to see if you have the patience, if you can keep your mouth shut when your friends ask why you're always online, and if you'll fold if a moderator questions your loyalty. You're waiting for the day they give you something more than a newbie tag.
Level 2. The Money Mule. 6 months pass. You've proven you aren't a Fed or a leech. You get a message from a user named Cypher. He doesn't ask if you want in, he tells you there's a package. This is your check, your version of the 13-second beating. It's not physical, but the fear is just as real. You're now a money mule. You're 17. Your job is to handle the cash out. You receive a cloned debit card in a plain envelope at a dead drop behind a grocery store. You walk to an ATM at 3 a.m. wearing a hoodie and a medical mask. Your heart is hammering against your ribs, a miniature sonic boom in your chest. You insert the card, type the PIN Cypher gave you, and withdraw the maximum amount. You keep 10% and drop the rest into a Bitcoin ATM 3 blocks away. For the first time in your life, you have $500 in your pocket. It feels like a fortune, more than your mother makes in a week. You buy a new pair of shoes, a better headset, and a feeling of power. But the risk is physical. If the police catch you at that ATM, you're going to juvenile detention, and the syndicate won't send a lawyer. You do your time or you keep your mouth shut. That's the rule. Silence is survival. Level 3. The Social Engineer. You're 19. You've survived the boots on the ground phase. Now they move you into the office. You're a social engineer. You don't need a weapon. Your voice is the tool. You're given a list of employees at a mid-sized logistics company and a VoIP script. You spend your days calling people, pretending to be from IT or HR. You learn that the weakest link in any multi-billion-dollar empire isn't the firewall, it's the human behind it. You talk a tired receptionist into giving you her login credentials. You're polite, you're helpful, and you're a predator. You make $2,000 a week now. You buy a used car, something reliable but not flashy, because visibility at this level is dangerous. You start to feel untouchable, but the psychological weight begins to settle. You're better at deception and worse at everything else. You can't have a normal conversation with your girlfriend without wondering what she's hiding or how you could manipulate her. You're translating between a world of truth and a world of lies, and you no longer speak either one fluently.
Level 4. The Initial Access Broker. You're 22. You've moved beyond the script. You're now an Initial Access Broker, IAB. You're a specialist, like a Navy SEAL breacher who knows exactly how much C4 it takes to blow a hinge. Your job is to find the hole in a corporate network and hold the door open for the heavy hitters. You spend weeks scouting a target. You're looking for unpatched servers or forgotten VPN credentials. Once you're in, you don't steal the data yourself. You package the access and sell it on a private auction site to the highest bidder. You're the middleman now. You make $20,000 for a single key. You're living in a nice apartment in a city that doesn't care where your money comes from. You tell your mom you're a freelance web developer. She sees the new furniture and the way you pay the bills, and she stops asking questions. But you're on a database now. Somewhere in a windowless room in Virginia or Lyon, an analyst has linked your handle to a series of breaches. You're a verified member of the syndicate.
Level 5, the affiliate. You're 25. You've been recruited into a cell of a major ransomware as a service syndicate. You're an affiliate. You don't write the code. You use the syndicate's tools to execute the mission. This is direct action. Your job is to find, fix, and finish. You take the access provided by an IAB, move laterally through the network, and deploy the encryptor. You watch the servers go dark. You send the ransom note. You're managing a team of 5 people. Mules, scrapers, and junior coders. You're a manager who occasionally kicks down doors digitally. The money is staggering. You're pulling in $100,000 a month. But the pressure is crushing. The syndicate leaders want their cut, and they want it yesterday. If you don't deliver, you're replaced. And in this world, being replaced doesn't mean a pink slip. It means your docs is leaked to the authorities as a distraction. You sleep 4 hours a night. You keep an encrypted phone under your pillow. You trust no one, not even the people you've worked with for years.
Level 6, the infrastructure architect. You're 28. Your body shows the mileage, not from combat, but from years of sedentary stress and the constant hum of adrenaline. Your back aches and your eyes are always strained. You've moved up to infrastructure architect. You're no longer on the front lines of the raid. You build the fortresses. You manage the bulletproof hosting, the botnets, and the command and control servers. You're a ghost. You operate from the shadows, running the organization like a corporation. You negotiate with corrupt data center owners in countries that don't have extradition treaties. You're a CEO of chaos. You make $500,000 a year, but you can't go to your brother's wedding because the risk of a red notice at the airport is too high. You live in a golden cage of high-end electronics and expensive delivery food. You're powerful, but you aren't free.
Level 7, the money launderer. You're 31. You've survived longer than most. Many of the guys you started with are in prison or have disappeared after a falling out with a partner. You've been promoted to the inner circle of the syndicate. You are the money launderer. The syndicate brings in millions, but it's all dirty crypto. You have to clean it. You run the money through mixers, chain hopping it until the trail goes cold. You opened legitimate front businesses, a mobile gaming company, a crypto consultancy, a luxury car rental. The money flows through them, coming out white. You're a successful businessman to your neighbors. They have no idea that the consulting fees you receive are actually the life savings of 1,000 scammed pensioners or the protection money from a locked-up hospital. You sit in meetings with people who decide which country's infrastructure to target next. You don't threaten people, you make them offers. A bribe to a local official here, a donation to a political campaign there. You've climbed for 15 years, and now you understand. The higher you rise, the fewer people stand between you and the blame. Level 8, the syndicate head. You're 35. You're ancient in cybercrime years. You are the syndicate head, the shot caller of the digital empire. You don't touch a keyboard anymore. You manage the supply chain of exploits, the distribution of ransoms, and the internal politics. You negotiate with other syndicates to divide the territory of the internet. You have a seat at a table you can never leave. You're worth $50 million in various cold wallets, but you can't buy a single day of peace. You move between safe houses, high-end rentals, and cities with no names every few weeks. You communicate through encrypted messages that self-destruct. You're a legend, a mythology to the kids just starting as scrapers. But you're also a target for every ambitious veterano in your own crew who wants your spot, and every federal agency on the planet. You've had your face digitally altered in videos, and you never use your real name. Your own mother wouldn't recognize the man you've become. You are the most powerful criminal in the digital hemisphere and the most hunted.
Level 9, the Extradited. They got you. It wasn't a raid with flashbangs. It was a quiet, invited meeting in a neutral country that turned out to be a trap. You're 38, and you're sitting in a cell in a maximum security federal facility. The walls are concrete. There is no internet here, no screens, no green text, just 23 hours a day of isolation. You had an empire. Now you have a steel door and the rest of your life to think about every person you encrypted to get there. You're a ghost story now, a cautionary tale parents tell their kids about the dangers of the dark web. But even here, the life follows you. You're a king in the unit because you know where the money is hidden. You settle disputes between other high-level inmates. You use your one monthly visit to pass coded messages to the outside. You're in a cage, but the trident you earned, the reputation of the syndicate, is the heaviest thing you'll ever carry.
Level 10, the cycle. The syndicate doesn't die with you. Your lieutenant takes over, or a rival absorbs your infrastructure. The data keeps leaking. The money keeps moving. The bodies, metaphorical and literal, keep piling up. Somewhere, in a cramped apartment in a city that smells like old rain, a 14-year-old kid sits at a cheap laptop. He's looking at a job board on an onion site. He sees your legend, your success, and he doesn't see the concrete walls or the 20-year sentence. He just sees the shoes and the power. He types his first message. He asks for a job as a scraper. You see yourself in him, and the cycle continues. The ocean of the darknet doesn't care. The bell of the next breach waits.